Farah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I noticed that you have been doing a lot of thinking in the light in the lake, and you've been really thinking after orienting yourself to the text about some possible themes. How's that work been going for you?
Pretty good. I've found one possible theme for the book.
And what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that it might be losing someone can be hard and create like changes in your life.
And how did you do that work? What were you doing while you did that work?
I was thinking about, well, I came up with the possible theme because she lost somebody, and in school, every time like something would happen or something would change, like the topic would go back to how her brother Amos died.
Okay, so you're thinking about some type of big idea, right?
Yes.
And in fiction texts, we know that that big idea is a theme or the reason why the author wrote the book.
Yes.
So when we're thinking about nonfiction, right, we've been thinking about a topic that you know a little bit about, but not that much about, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes nonfiction readers, right, they have to read books that I know you can read a big chapter book, but sometimes they read picture books just to kind of get themselves some more background knowledge and really still do that same kind of work, even though it's a nonfiction picture book, okay? So sometimes a strategy that nonfiction readers use is they really wonder while they read, and they ask themselves questions, and then they answer those questions as they're going along, and they really think about like, what does it seem like this text is mostly about? And so we looked through this text a little bit, and you were talking to me, noticing different sections about the text, and you were noticing some text features that were helping you. And I was thinking that we could probably come up with a theme or a big idea as a nonfiction reader just on this one section of the text. So it is okay if I teach you one way that nonfiction readers do this strategy?
Yes.
Okay. So nonfiction readers will sometimes ask themselves a question. So I made this little chart for you. So they really ask themselves questions to form ideas. So while they're reading, they read along a little bit. They ask a question. Sometimes they jot down like, right? What am I thinking about? What am I wondering? And then I think about, is there a pattern? Like, what is this mostly about in this particular section? And then I answer those questions, and then I say, what's the main idea? What's the big idea? And we're just going to practice on one section today, but eventually, after you read the whole book, you're going to want to say, why did the author really write this book? What's the main idea of this book? Okay, can I show you how I did that work a little bit? So I'm going to put our anchor chart over here, and I'm going to read a little bit and try this strategy. I'm going to put the strategy right here. You can look on with me a little bit, okay? So watch how I do this work. So I have my notebook, and I tried it a little bit to see if I could come up with a main idea, right? So I'm going to think, like friends in low places. So right now I'm really kind of wondering, like, what does that mean, friends in low places? Like, why would the author title it Friends? That's really kind of tricky to me. So there are more than 1 million kinds of insects. Like, wow, that's a lot of different insects, don't you think?
Yeah.
Most of them are solitary insects. I'm kind of thinking like, wow, what does that word solitary mean? So solitary, it's kind of like alone, don't you think?
Yeah.
So the survival depends on only one being, themselves. So they're all by themselves. Notice sometimes, see how I put alone and I drew a little picture? Because sometimes when I look at my notes later, I'll even be like, wow, like that's alone and I don't have to read all my notes. I have those pictures to help me. An ant is different. Oh, I wonder how they're different. It is a social insect, It cannot survive by itself for long. Wow, so in my notes, as I was thinking about a social insect, like what does it mean to be social? And then I was like, social? Where have I heard that word social? I was thinking like social media, like social Facebook, like Facebook or Instagram or, right? So then I was thinking social as I was looking at the picture, it looks like they're sort of all together. So like people connected, maybe these ants are connected in some type of way. And then, I'm going to read a little bit more. It cannot survive by itself for long periods of time. Wow. So it cannot survive by itself. Why can't it survive alone? See, I wrote that down in my notes.
Yeah.
I'm really wondering this.
Like, do they need each other to survive in like the wilderness, or?
Oh, so that would be a question you would have asked. Do they need each other to survive, right?
Or is it like something else?
Do they need each other?
And also, instead of like social media, it could be like a social community. Like people like are talking, so it's like social.
Right, so they're coming together, right?
Yeah.
Let's read on a little bit. So do you see how you're engaging in the work? Do you see how you're jotting down your wonderings? You're thinking about them, and then when we're done with this thinking, we're going to kind of come up with that main idea or that big idea. Let's see if we can come up with one. Ready? So ants need other ants to help build a nest, gather food, and protect themselves from enemies. So it's kind of like what you were thinking, socially depending on one another. This need for other ants is not a weakness, but a strength that enables the ant to overcome its small size. So wow, I was thinking about like it's small, right? So, but when they're all together, right? When these ants are all together, so together they are strong. So I was thinking, like after I look over all my notes, because I really want to reflect on my ideas and say, what do I really think here? Can I come up with a big idea? So do you have a big idea in your head that you're thinking?
So
I'm going to share mine. You think about yours. Do you have it in your head? So from my notes and what I'm thinking that ants are small social insects that depend on one another for survival. Did you have a different idea or something that's the same?
I was thinking kind of the same thing, because it always talks about like how they're together, or they can't survive alone, or they depend on one another. So I think yours like sums up my idea with depending on one another.
Excellent. So, as a nonfiction reader, you're really going to want to engage in this work on your own with your own notebook. So you're going to ask questions to form ideas, jot down your wonderings, think about your questions. Is there a pattern? What am I mostly thinking about? And put those ideas together to come up with that main idea in the text. Do you want to try it a little bit? So I noticed that you had some notes on your own, right, where you kind of came up with some possible thinking, and you were really noticing what the text was about. So it seemed like you had a lot of aha moments here, right? So you were like, wow, ants were around with dinosaurs, they were being attacked, right? And you had some wonderings. So let's see if on the next page we can just try it with questions and then kind of get your thinking down. We'll just do it a little bit and then say, aha, I think I know a big idea about this. Would you like to try it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, would you like to pick a section of the text? You want to go to this next section here, like, let's have you pick a section. This one looks good, inside an anthill. That's kind of cool.
Masters of Earth.
Well, I thought you already took notes on that, so let's try a different section. How about inside an anthill? You haven't read that yet. Let's try that. And let's see if you can try the same strategy that we've been thinking about. Are you ready?
Yes.
Do you want to use your notebook?
Sure.
So let's put your notice and wonder. Do you want to draw a line to this new thinking?
Yeah. So we're just going to be doing questions.
Yep. So read a little bit. Think about your question. I'm going to give you the anchor chart here to work from. So we don't even have to read all of it, but just some of it. See what you're thinking. Do you want to read it out loud or to yourself?
I'll read it to myself.
Okay. So Farah, it looks like you've had some time to draw your notice and wonder where you'll be putting your questions. Are you ready to try it with Inside an Anthill?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to read it out loud. Most ants build their homes underground. I already really knew that, so I don't think I need to write it down in my notes. Ants dig by scooping dirt with their mandibles, jaws. So I didn't really know that they called their mandibles jaws, so I think I'll write that down in my notice section.
Put it under there. Okay.
As they chew the dirt, it mixes with their saliva to form little bricks. Then they pack little bricks together to reinforce the tunnels. Finally, the ants carry the excess dirt outside of their mandibles, and it gradually forms an anthill. So I did not know in that paragraph that they used like saliva and dirt in their mouth to create bricks to make their home.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to write down that in my
Did you have any
notes.
questions?
I think one of my questions is like, how do they like brick by brick put it together when like how big would the bricks be to put it together?
Okay, so do you want to write that down in your wonder section?
And then I noticed how they build their ant homes with slab and dirt mixed. So far from my notice section, I have mandibles are ant jaws, and they build their ant homes with saliva and dirt. And for my wonder, I have how big are the bricks that they build their home with. And then I was thinking about what the author was trying to teach us about this little section of the book, and I think she or he was trying to teach us about how the ants build their ant homes.
So it seems like just from asking questions, really jotting down your wonders, and then looking over those questions and thinking about, is there a pattern that you can really come up with that big idea? Does it seem like that strategy will be helpful to you?
Yes.
All right, well, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.